Welcome everybody. Welcome to another Community Fit, and in particular, a midweek desk stretch. Hope everyone is doing well. I wanted to start this one off a little bit differently because this is our last class. Oh, hi, Bob. Come on up. Say hi to everybody. Bob's gonna join us for a bit. Um, Today's our last class of this series of this session. And so we have Friday's class for Adjusting to Change Toolkit, and then we will take a little break. And I wanted to start off with a couple of things. Number one, if you've joined us for this series, everything to do with kind of shoulder and hips areas here, hip areas. Feel free to drop in any remaining questions you have. And again, we're only talking about shoulders and hips and kind of out into arms and legs. Drop in any remaining questions you might have, anything you want to work on today in either the chat or the Q&A while I kind of talk a little bit about the next session. Alicia apologizes. She's not able to make it today, but she wanted to send her love, and she'll be joining us in future sessions. For our next session, it is going to start on May 7th, and it will go all the way through until June 18th. So May 7 to June 18 is the next session. And I'm going to read here a little bit. The next one is Smart Spine, Strong Back. And this is particularly for Wednesdays. Smart Spine, Strong Back. And we're going to be talking about focusing on recalibrating your spine and strengthening your back, talking about some improved alignment, some posture, some movement, some mobility. And when we're talking back area, spinal area, we're also going to talk about the belly. We're going to talk about the lungs. We're going to talk about ribs. We're going to talk about all of the kind of everything in between the hips and the shoulders. So we did a whole series on kind of neck and jaw. We did hips and shoulders, and we're going to round this series out with everything kind of in between those areas. So please join us from May 7th to June 18th. You'll be getting new invites to that if you're signed up for that. And then we have Adjusting to Change Toolkit, and we'll talk more about that on Friday for our next series, which is more nervous system regulation stuff and kind of changing the lens on that class as well. And once we have that, we'll be wrapped up for the summer. We'll take some time off, and then we'll be back sometime in the fall. So that's the plan. Again, any questions you might have, I'm not seeing anything in here right now. So I'm assuming everything has been crystal clear. You guys are doing your homework, you're doing everything. And so we're going to just have sort of a review recap of some of our best of. Do we have anyone who is joining us for the first time for this class? Feel free to send up an emoji, a heart, a thumbs up, anything. Or we just got a bunch of, so we do have one. Great. So for those of you just joining us for the first time, number one, that's the co-host Bob over there. Number two is, since it's a review class for today, just do what you can do, right? We're not going to go into super deep detail over things. All of these videos will be posted on YouTube at some time in the next few weeks. We also have a humongous library over there of these classes, Adjusting to Change Toolkit classes, and several other versions of classes that we have done similar to these or very, very different. But there's over in the CommunityFIT, Western Health Advantage CommunityFIT YouTube area, humongous library of resources for you to kind of explore and play with. Today, follow along, do what you can. We're going to start off as we always do with the nervous system regulation work. If you have a nervous system regulation practice, which I highly recommend you finding one, feel free to do whatever that is, whether that's a meditation, a breath work, or whatever. If you're brand new and you're like, I don't have one, please just follow me along. Again, just because I move forward in a practice or I choose to do something because my body feels like it needs it. And that's sort of maybe for those of you who've joined us for a long time, you kind of know. I do in these classes what I feel like my body needs in the moment, and then I share it with you. That may not be exactly what your body needs in the moment. It might mean that you need to take a break. It might mean that you need to revisit an exercise we did 5 minutes prior. It may mean that you need to do something that we haven't even talked about, but it feels like your body needs or wants to do in the moment. And the good news is that's probably exactly what you need to do in the moment. So follow your intuition, do what works for you. And if you're lost, follow along with me. Here we go. Sit comfortably, whatever that means for you. And we're going to start off with a little bit of a self-regulating breath work. We're going to go with one of my personal favorites. We're going to do the physiological sigh. That's a double inhale, followed by a single exaggerated exhale. That's a big inhale, a full inhale, long exaggerated exhale. If you can go in through the nose, out through the mouth, all the better. But do what works for you. We're going to do about 5 of those. Here we go. It's an inhale. Inhale. Exhale. 4 more. One more. Take your hands, get your hands warmed. Place your nice warm hands either on the jaw, the throat, the chest, or the belly. Just kind of be there. Just letting the warmth do the work. I'm even going to add a new one in. If you've got a dog or a cat or something, go ahead and pet them. It's a self-regulation practice as well. Another 20, 30 seconds. 15 more. And then, so it was a lot of zooming in practices. Let's do a zooming out practice, meaning let's go into some sensory foraging. Go ahead and start to look around your space. You're just going to notice things in your space. Maybe you just take a moment to appreciate the ceiling and the walls and the books and the art and the plants and the animals and what's out the window that's in your space. You're just slowing down and just kind of appreciating, noticing textures, colors, artifacts. And then coming back to your center. If at any time you feel a little worked up, a little anxious, a little pain signal coming in, maybe you want to jump back into one of these self-regulation practices to sort of triage that kind of experience. For the rest of us, let's start off down in the hips. I'm going to scooch back just a bit. And for this one, you don't need to see anything happening down here because we're going to start off with some of that somatic or embodied meditation work that we started off with 6 weeks ago. So sitting comfortably, if you have a firm surface, all the better. You're going to sense into, and again, apologizing for anyone just joining us for the first time. We're going to move kind of quickly through this. So do what you can with it. But you have your pubic bone, you have your tailbone. That's the midline of the body. On the right, you have a right sit bone. On the left, you have that left sit bone. Those are the bones underneath the butt cheeks. Feel if both of them feel equally weighted or just kind of sense into what is that experience. If you can have your feet on the floor, bum on a firm surface, all the better. No need to critique or judge. We're not trying to adjust anything. We're just tapping into an awareness of where are my sits bones in relationship to a midline in my body. And then again, being very, very crystal clear and strategic with the words I'm using. The invitation is for you to bring together, tighten, narrow, squeeze those two sit bones towards midline. And then, in contrast, release, relax, yield, let go, and widen the sit bones away from midline. Again, being very strategic with the words I'm using. Squeezing, contracting, pulling together, narrowing those sit bones. And then in turn, releasing, relaxing, yielding, letting go of those till you're occupying more space right to left. We cannot squeeze, push, or make happen the widening. It is a letting go. You are using everything you got to bring them together. And you're just oscillating, pendulating, varying the experience between narrow and wide. Narrow and wide. Chances are within that, now that you've been practicing this for several weeks, you can probably notice that one side wants to come in a little narrower, a little tighter, is easier to contract, and maybe it's a little harder to let go of. And just acknowledge that. And then as we explore and play today, and you notice a hip that is tight, a shoulder that is tight, you can start making those relationships in your own body. Oh, look at that. I have a little harder time narrowing and widening. And look at that. It's the same hip on that side that's a little tighter. It's, oh yeah, that's the foot I have a thing in. That's a shoulder that I've got a thing in, whatever it is. Start making those relationships. This class is really all about paying attention to, right? Embodying, being present with what is. So we are narrowing and then we're yielding, contracting, yielding. Now, can you end in a space where you are more wide? There's more yielding going on. And the fact is, for the rest of the practice, the rest of today, the next 15, 20 minutes, your one goal is to stay relaxed, yielded, and widened, no matter where else we go. That is the goal. And I'm going to leave it up to you to continually check in on that. For now, I'm going to adjust this. And we're going to get a little more specific in the exercises. Right, Bob? So, relaxed, yielded, and widened. I'm going to be here, and then I'm going to rock. Right sit bone, left sit bone. Right sit bone, left sit bone. Right sit bone, left sit bone. And the whole time just being kind of widened. And then in order to move left, I'm going to push my right foot down into the floor. In order to move right, I'm going to push my left foot down so I can feel a little bit of something going on underneath the butt cheek that is connected to the foot that's pushing down. If I push down on the right, I'm probably feeling some contraction in the right. And as I do that, can I intentionally stay relaxed, yielded, and widened? Finding your center, rocking forward and back, almost like you're hinging closed at the hip joints and coming back open. This is not a cat-cow. This is not a flexion and extension exercise. This is a hip closing, hip opening. Hip joints close, hip joints open. And then finding your center. Now, rock forward, to the right, back, to the left, and forward. This is not a hula hoop action through the ribs. This is like in the hip joints themselves. It's like I'm exploring the front, the right, the back, the left, the front of the hip joints. And then I reverse that circle. Two more. One more. Finding your center. Scooch to the front edge of your chair. And again, every time we've done this exercise, there's questions on the feet. And I want to be really specific on this. Your feet are flat on the ground, more or less pointed forward. If they need to open up a little bit, great. As your knees move inside, outside, your feet are not flopping. They are also not glued strictly to the floor. They might flex a little bit, but the intention is to keep the feet more or less on the floor without having to effort too much. So the goal is to keep them down, but if they move a little bit, thumbs up. If they're floppy, thumbs down. If it feels like you're doing too much work to keep them down, thumbs down, right? Make it kind of work for you. From there, all I'm doing is just kind of letting my knees open and close. What's the goal of this exercise? Widened, relaxed, yielding sit bones. Same as all of the other exercises. We're just kind of letting things flop and move. Now, you may want to here explore. If I bring my feet a little closer together, what does that feel like? If I open them up a little wider, what does that feel like? If maybe left foot is slightly forward and right foot is slightly back, so that the stance is kind of separated a bit, what does that feel like? Which one do you need to do? Which one feels like it's getting you somewhere you want to go to? Another 30 seconds, just kind of moving. Knees open, knees closed, knees open, knees closed. Ten more seconds. Release. Just kind of notice that. Then pick a foot and put it over the knee, like so. If you can't quite get here, you can slide it down a bit. But from here, we're just going to do a little rocking. Forward and back. Forward and back. Just noticing right hip versus left hip, sit bones, just embodying, paying attention, being present. And hold. From there, let's just kind of wiggle in the chair a bit. And then find your center, twist your upper body to the right. Take a couple of breaths. Twist your upper body to the left. Couple of breaths. Back to center. A little forward and backwards rock. And release. Notice any differences between the right and the left side there. And then let's do the other foot. Now this foot, this leg might be different feeling, and that's fine. I'm just going to start off a little movement. Forward and back. Finding center, just a little rock, a little wiggle in the chair. And then from there, twisting one direction. Couple of breaths. And other direction. And back to center. Set the foot down and just open and close again. Then, keeping the feet right around hip distance, we're just going to kind of let them, almost like a restless leg, a nervous, twitchy leg, up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. Feeling the feet kind of hit the floor, whether you have no shoes on or shoes on. It's just like a compressive movement, pounding in the feet. Another 10 seconds. And rest. Noticing any differences there. Then let's move to the upper body. We're going to warm up the hands, get them warmed up. We're going to take our right hand and we're going to place it onto the left collarbone. And that hand is just going to massage, move across the collarbone. We're just kind of noticing how long and wide that collarbone actually is. Then we're going to have the hand rest on the totality and move that collarbone underneath your hand indiscriminately. It can be circulars, it can be up and down, it can be forward and back, more than the shape that you're drawing with your bone. I invite you to notice what portions of that bone are more or less reluctant to move. Does it move in the center? Does it move more on the outside? Where can you kind of try to get some motion where currently it's a little less apt to move? Slide the hand underneath the armpit, let it rest, check in with the sit bones, check in with the whole body. Then, as that free hand lifts, and again, I don't care if it goes straight up, if it goes forward, if it goes, you're going to explore and play. This hand, the armpit hand, is almost trying to pull the armpit towards the collarbone we were just working on. It's kind of up and out, right? And that hand can then lift and lower. Last two, last one, release. Now, on the back side of that arm you just worked over here, you got a shoulder blade. Start to move the shoulder blade wherever it can go. It may be helpful to think of a shoulder blade on your back body as an eraser on a like dry erase board. So we're just envisioning where can it possibly go back here. Now, for those of you who've been practicing some of the shoulder stuff for a while now, we're going to bring one back from kind of a vault, something we used to do a lot in Move Lab classes that we're going to bring in for today. I'm going to sit kind of, this is probably your best angle. That free hand is going to go behind your back, right? Right now, my palm is facing the back wall, and I'm going to take the back of my hand and kind of wash my back all the way from low back to mid to upper back. How much of your back can the back of the hand touch? Tailbone, up high, across the back, wherever it is. Then pause wherever you're at. Flip the palm so that the palm now touches your back. Continue to move. This is a little more stretch, a little more mobility work. And then release. Just some shoulder rolls and a finger flick. Check in with the sit bones, like we're flicking off water. And then just like a shake. Shake, shake, shake. And then for a moment, pause and notice any differences between the side you worked and the other side. Then let's repeat the whole thing over here. Hands get warmed. Collarbone. Hand on top of collarbone. Just some movement. indiscriminate. Slide it underneath the armpit. Just let it do its thing for a moment. That heat working with the nervous system, just communicating everything's fine. We're okay over here. When you're ready, lift and tug. Two more. Last one. From there, shoulder blade movement. Remember that shoulder blades like an eraser, moving indiscriminately. And then hand goes behind your back of the hand on the ribs, and you're just moving. It's like you're washing off in a shower, right? Just what back there can I clean? Where can I touch? What's hard for me today? And the more you do it, what becomes easier over time? Then flip the palm, continue. Releasing, just some gentle, gentle movement. Both shoulders, gentle, gentle movement. Little finger flicks, maybe some shaking. And then maybe both hands shake, both arms shaking up, forward, back, wherever it goes, right? It's just floppy, floppy shakes. And release. Noticing now what feels different. Then right hand, left wrist, left hand, right wrist, and they're going to tug and pull. Probably feel some contraction, some information on the backside of the shoulder blades, and release. Squeeze, release. Tug, release. One more. Tug, release. Switching, tug, release, tug, release. Two more. Tug, release. Last one. Tug, release. Now, you probably have one of these two grips that feels more awkward. Choose the awkward feeling one, and then let your arms kind of swing right to left, up, down, up, down, just moving, moving, moving. And release. Subtle movements. From there, bring your shoulder blades and shoulders and collarbone, all of it up, 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 and then release. Don't just think of your shoulders touching your ears, but think of the totality of the collarbone, the totality of the shoulder blades, everything coming up, everything going back down. Let's see if we can add some breath into that. Inhale, shoulders go up. Exhale, they slowly go down, extending the breath, extending the movement. Two more. On your last one, really concentrating on letting go of those sit bones and lengthening the back of the neck. Shoulders go up, inhale. Exhale, lengthen, soften, widen. And then to end off with, remember the one or two things that were difficult for you to do, practice those. The one or two things that were easy or enjoyable for you to do, practice those things. We'll be back May 7th through June 18th to start a new series of midweek desk stretch, concentrating on the spine, the core, the center, this portion of your body. All things kind of posture and movement, rib, spine, tailbone, sacrum, low back. We've had lots of questions on low back related. For today, any remaining questions, feel free to drop them in. If not, I will see you on Friday, and then we'll be off for a couple of weeks, starting again May 7th. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a good one. Bye, everybody.